Happy Sunday to you all, and welcome to today's Poplar Report. I will have to start off by giving you guys an apology for an earlier report on the weather I gave you. Yep, I was wrong. We've got a major egg recall with 42 people sick so far. We got new cough mandate going to the hospitals nationwide that you need to be aware of. And a possible answer of why we have this recent egg shortage and price increases without all these mass cullings. It appears to be widespread chicken feed issues at the farms. And we got a heartwarming story of people successfully banding together to block the government trying to cull their chickens with a fake disease. That and more on today's Poplar Report. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in. Please do keep them coming in. Make sure you use the word update in your comment on this video or on any video on this channel. Make sure you give us a geographical location if it's useful to your comment. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help people who have retirement accounts to get out of stocks and bonds into something safer like physical metals, like their prepper bars in silver or prepper bars in gold, or into any kind of other precious metal you want to get into. If you want to find out more about that, there'll be a link at the end of the video for you to get some more information. No obligation if you do reach out to them, of course. All right, so people have been telling us what the weather will be in 20 years, or 50 years from now, or 100 years from now, with extreme confidence at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Now, they made a prediction going into this hurricane season that it was going to be the worst hurricane season ever. And to my shame, I reported it because they were showing that it was the warmest Atlantic Ocean ever. And it made sense that with previous hot Atlantic Ocean years were high hurricane years. But it's been 3 weeks since the last named tropical storm has developed, and I don't know if you know your calendars, but this is peak hurricane season. And no named storms at all. They, and sadly me too, were completely wrong. Just goes to show that no one really understands the weather, other than God himself. So, maybe we'll figure it out sometime, but we haven't apparently figured it out yet, so I apologize for that report, because it turned out to be false. All right, so we got a salmonella outbreak in 9 states. I know, egg prices are already up. Egg shortages are developing in different parts of the country. And then on top of it, we get this. A salmonella outbreak in 9 states with a big recall of eggs. Eggs labeled Milo's Poultry Farms and Tony's Fresh Market eggs. If you have either one of those brands, you need to be aware that there is a major recall out there on them. They are subject to the recall in Wisconsin, Illinois, and Michigan. Now, I'm not sure if outside that, if you somehow got those eggs outside that window, maybe they're also still under recall. Definitely check into it. Once again, Milo's Poultry Farms and Tony's Fresh Market. Most of the illnesses are concentrated in Wisconsin and Illinois, but people also reporting illnesses in California, Utah, Colorado, Minnesota, Iowa, Michigan, and Virginia. Now, my geography tells me that Virginia is rather far away from California. And you got Colorado somewhere in the middle there too, with Utah. I mean, that's a pretty broad spectrum of places that they're getting these reports from. This recall may be expanded soon. Just from that, hearing that, there may be another batch of eggs out there from some other distributor or something like that that is causing this to be reported that widely. All right, November 1st, U.S. hospitals will begin to have to report the cough admissions, restoring the mandate that went away May 1st of this year. So basically they have to find out how many of the people that have come into the hospital have the cough, and then they need to report that to the federal government. If you can just imagine, that's probably going to raise the number of cough incidents out there. And when the federal government gets these big numbers in, some Karen somewhere, sorry if your name's Karen, some HOA president somewhere, sorry if you're an HOA president, no, actually not really, is going to demand somebody needs to do something. And politicians love nothing more than to just do something. And they will lock us all down or do all sorts of crazy stuff to us in the name of science or something. So be aware of that. That is going to be coming at us very, very shortly, November 1st. Gee, why does that date sound familiar? Is it just 3 or 4 days before the that date? Yes, it is. Lola, we still have coming talk about why the eggs are in shortage in the first place before that whole recall. So that's coming your way too here. A whole bunch of other important updates we need to pass along. Let's get into it. Lola says Texas-based oil company issued a memo to employees warning them about the security concerns from violent others, gangs. The gangs are allegedly attacking oil workers and attempting to steal oil, fuel, copper, and from the oil fields in Texas. Yep, they're getting out of the cities and bringing all their joy to the countryside. Black Ion says, went through southern Alabama and Florida panhandle 2 weeks ago. I've never seen corn crops so bad this time of year. We'll see what those numbers look like as the adjustments come in, shall we? Mayo says, southeastern Pennsylvania, I was talking with my hubby about reordering beef shares from a local farmer and went on their website to see the price. When we first purchased a half beef share in August 2022, the cost was $2,100. Now the cost has gone up to $22.25. So $2,100 to $22.25. A $125 difference. I checked to see if more was being offered in the price, and nope, same cuts of beef. Now that's a 5.9% increase in 2 years. So given government inflation numbers out there, that's actually kind of in line with what the government says inflation is. So 3% increase each year, sadly, you're not being scammed at all. You're actually doing really, really well with that farmer, actually. They're really keeping costs in check for you. Dimbula Blade Works in Australia. Gardens are coming under attack here with rules and regulations. During the cough, organic sprays to chase away the birds were banned, and nets were suggested to protect fruit trees from native birds and bats. If you were a sucker and you went out there and got the nets, well, now the nets are banned unless it's shade cloth thickness. Yes, sounds like a new regulation. Because, of course, don't you know what shade cloth thickness is? Well, you can just go look it up in the code for the explanation of how to determine shade cloth thickness, I'm sure. Don't you just love laws and rules? This is to ensure nothing, including sunshine, can get through the nets. Which, if you have a fruit-bearing plant and you put cloth on top of it that blocks the sun in order to keep the birds off, that doesn't really do anything good for the plant, does it? The fines for having the wrong nets is 3,000 Australian dollars. Now, that's not quite as much as US dollars, but it's still a lot of money because you followed what they said to do yesterday, today. How dare you not keep up with their changing minds? Many people have been caught so far. This is just the latest round of idiocy that we are seeing here to ensure it's not worth the hassle and risk to garden at home. How dare you garden at home? How dare you not keep up with all the rules and regulations of what is shade tree fabric thickness of netting? Yeah. Especially when you don't even want shade fabric, right? Keep eyes to the sky, says Steve. The city of Tucson, Arizona, stopped charging bus fare on the city bus in either 2020 or 2021. Guess why? For the cough, cough. That's right. The buses have become overrun now by the drug-addicted homeless and are unsafe for regular riders and the bus drivers. The Democrat mayor of Tucson and the Tucson media work overtime to keep this covered up. Any small child can tell you when you stop charging for something that you're giving away for free, the amount of people that will come to take your free stuff will expand until you have no more free stuff to give out. So if you're going to give free bus rides to everybody, well, is it any surprise that you're going to have drug-addicted homeless people living on your buses for free? No, that's not a surprise at all. And that may make some people feel a little uncomfortable getting onto the bus. And the government, of course, responding to this problem by simply covering it up and attacking anybody who talks about it. Doesn't that sound like our government? Doesn't that sound like the government everywhere? Christy Lynn says, North Dallas-Fort Worth, no pasture-raised eggs at Aldi or Sam's. No heavy cream at Aldi over the last couple months. No canned sweet potatoes at Aldi. Very low flour and sugar at Aldi. That's worse than what we've been hearing anywhere else. So maybe that is just a distribution issue in Dallas-Fort Worth. If anyone else is seeing those same issues in Dallas-Fort Worth or in the Texas area around there, please let us know, once again, using the word update in your comment. David says, there have been a large number of reports that I heard of that say the bird feed has been changed by several feed manufacturers. So this is for the chickens, right? The results were fewer eggs than usual, and in a number of cases, sick and or dying birds. So if this is a manufacturing level thing, that they changed the feed in order to save some money, and a whole bunch of industrial farms, industrial egg farms, got a hold of this feed, and it killed a bunch of the chickens and caused the other chickens to lay less eggs. If this was widespread, friends, that very well could be why we're seeing this weird, out-of-character spike in egg prices and the drop in supply of eggs without actually seeing mass cullings out there. Now, we have gotten reports out there of at least one mass culling that was not reported. Are they just not reporting the cullings anymore? I don't know, but there's something going on with eggs for sure. We know that for sure because you guys are reporting it and we're seeing it widespread across the country. Sunnier Timer says, we live in the burbs outside Seattle and produce here is terrible. The last couple of times I bought iceberg lettuce home, the outside looked good, but when I cut into it to wash, it was brown inside. That is weird. It usually isn't brown on the inside. The avocados are so bad that we have splurged and buy the little Costco packs of guac now because the avocados are too bad. The cucumbers we bought went bad within a few days, and so did the tomatoes. Bought a bag of small red apples and they taste like nothing. There's barely any flavor to them. The carrots seem okay, but not as fresh and crunchy as we're used to. I bought a bag of onions. This is summertime, friends. This isn't like the dead of winter when you kind of expect the produce to be bad. It's summertime. If the farmers can't even pull this off, how are the gardeners supposed to? I bought a bag of onions and a couple of them were bad inside and had to be thrown out. I don't know why the produce looks so bad, but I have cut my buying of them and try to get the smallest amount at a time. Even the grapes from Target lasted only 2 days before they turned. So of course we're trying to get everyone to eat healthy out there and eat fresh food, but they can't and they're being discouraged from doing that. Why? Because the produce is so bad. Sounds like a conspiracy to me. Sounds like the truth to me. Linda says, I live in central Pennsylvania, about 2 hours east of Pittsburgh. My local Aldi's is looking very thin on produce. No bananas and barely any lettuce. They keep shrinking the fresh produce area. Eggs are $4.15 a dozen. Yikes. Anyone here remember $1.45? Anyone remember $1.45 just a few weeks ago? A couple months ago? When we were saying, hey, get stocked up on eggs. I heard it on this channel. Coffee and tea section is almost empty. The juice section was looking very thin. The store looks like it's struggling to keep items on the shelves. And this is a heartwarming story for you guys who are frustrated and upset with the government. Adam, telling this just to give our chicken farmers an idea. I can't verify, but it was told from a friend who has family in Belize. There is a large Amish population there. They grew tired of the government culling their otherwise healthy-looking chickens for bird flu. They banded together and invested not only in a state-of-the-art lab, but also a certified person to run it. They hired their own lab and tech. When the regularly tested birds and they regularly test the birds and offer the services to others. When the government wanted to cull a member's birds, a large number of people turned out and said no, and showed the agents the test results from their lab. The government backed down. There has not been an outbreak of or culling since. I'm not sure, but maybe there is something American farmers and ranchers could learn from this. Can you imagine the USDA showing up and be like, we're going to have to cull your birds? And you're like, actually, that's what your scientists say, but my scientist says this. You can just imagine how well that would go over. They'd probably shoot your scientist and you, because that's what the government does best. The FBI would probably show up to join the party, I'm sure. But you know that the USDA has lots and lots of people, agents with weapons and body armor, just like the IRS does, because naturally they do. Why wouldn't they have a SWAT team? All right, friends, if you want to find out more from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement plan, there's a link right there on the screen. You can just tap it and fill it out, no obligation to get in conversation with them, just to ask some questions, get some more information. If you want to check out another video from the channel, there's one right up there. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report.